Hi, everyone. I'm Sunshine Jackson, and thank you so much for joining me for the Sunshine Sessions on YouTube. Well, this is not how I plan to make my return to YouTube. I had some other things in mind for my new season, but due to I would say, an overwhelming response that I got from a podcast that I did entitled Unemployed Men Should Not Date. I felt the need to come and address that. This is not an apology, just a clarification. Now, let me start by saying that the podcast that I'm referencing is my podcast that is audio only. It's on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, and Breaker, other places where you could find podcasts. Okay. So I did a topic called Unemployed Men Should Not Date. And oh boy, I upset quite a few people, mainly men, of course. Um, I will also say, interestingly enough, my audio podcast, when looking at the demographics and the numbers, the majority of my audience for that particular podcast is male. So I guess it would make sense that the complaints that I got were from men. But let me just say this, because I wanted to clarify a couple of things. I'm not at all suggesting that unemployed men don't deserve love. And what I'll do with this particular podcast is I'll just go through and address some of the concerns and the things like that the men brought up in their response. And this podcast, this is not a new uh, podcast. I think this was from season one. And I'm currently on like what season am I on? Five or six or something like that. I took a break from that podcast, just like I did from YouTube, just life in general. And so, um, yeah, this isn't a new podcast. It's just renewed interest in the topic, I suppose. So let me start by saying, again, just to address some of the questions or the rebuttal that I received from different people. Number one, no, I'm not suggesting that men who don't have jobs don't deserve love. Keep in mind, in my opinion, love and dating are not the same thing. You can have one without the other, uh, specifically dating without love. To me, love is a point. You have to get to that point, and dating sometimes allows you to do that. Was not suggesting that men without jobs don't deserve love. The overwhelming meaning of my particular podcast, or that particular podcast, was to suggest that if, as a man, you are not financially in a place where you can take care of yourself, I was simply saying I don't think it's a good idea for you to try to embark on something new, like dating. From a female perspective, we are expensive. Dating costs money. I'm not suggesting that a man should break the bank when wooing a woman or dating a woman. Not at all. I'm simply saying, as women, there are things that we like to go out and do. Staying at home, watching a movie, cuddling, cooking, that's great. But sometimes we do like to go out. And of course, I think that men do as well. In order to do that, it costs money. Dinner, dancing, when you go to dinner, you got to pay, you got to tip, you got to valet. or not, if that's your choice, depending on the restaurant or the establishment. But all of those things cost money. So I was simply suggesting that in order to do that, it would make sense that you are in a place financially where you can afford to do that comfortably and it does not put a strain on you. So the point I was making was I would think that since many men view themselves as providers and they're comfortable with that role, I would think that that would stand out in his mind, that he would want to be in a place where he can do that again comfortably and it not put a strain on him. That's the point I was trying to make. One of the other concerns or issues, I should say, that the guys had was they felt that I was saying that if a woman, no, how did they put it? That by saying that men should not date if they're unemployed, it is to suggest that a woman will not be there for the man in time of struggle. What I was trying to explain to the gentleman was that when you're in a relationship and you meet challenges, i.e., a struggle, that's different. But as women, we don't want to go into a new situation with a man where we have to struggle. Do you understand the difference? If I am doing well on my own, I don't want to enter a situation where I have to struggle with a man. I'm just being honest. So, being in an established relationship and challenges are presented and things happen. We all know that life happens. People lose jobs, people get laid off, etc., etc. That's totally different than walking into a new situation knowing that you're going to have to struggle with this man who, um, for all intents and purposes, you don't even know. I mean, you don't know. You're saying that I'm suggesting that I'm not going to be there for the struggle. Well, I'm suggesting to you that I don't know you well enough to know if you're going to be there after the struggle. Do you understand what I'm saying? After you get yourself together, you can very well move on. And in my mind, that means you would have just used me as a come up or as an opportunity to better yourself. So you have to look at it from both angles. It's not at all saying that we as women won't be there for you when you're struggling. I'm saying as women, being in a relationship is one thing, but going into a brand new struggle, totally different. And I stand on that. I'm not changing my opinion. I don't think it's a good idea for a woman to enter that type of situation. I feel that if a man does not have himself together, then it's probably a good idea for him to concentrate on bettering himself, even just for himself, so he can be the best version of himself before he embarks on dating and trying to establish something with someone. What was the other thing? There was another scenario that, oh, this was the scenario that the gentleman stated. He said, um, what if the man is interested in the woman? He doesn't have a job. She denies his advances or ignores those, rejects those advances. Later on, he establishes himself, begins to make six figures. She's later on interested in him. Would it be right for him to reject her? I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with him saying to her, you didn't want me then, I don't want you now. That's fine. That's his prerogative. I still believe that a woman should not go into a struggle. I will say this: if you know that the man is trying and he has prospects, that's one thing. But to go into something with someone who there are no prospects, he's not trying, I don't, I do not, I will not ever encourage a woman to do that. There are sirens blasting in the background. I apologize if you all can hear that. Ambulance and sounds like a fire truck, actually. I apologize. Let's see if we can let that pass a little bit, because I don't know if it's as overwhelming for you in the audio as it is for me here. Okay. It just got louder. It's passing right by me. Hmm. City life. City life. Anyway, I'm not wavering on that. If a man hits auto after the woman, I'm sorry, I got a call. After the woman rejects him, he has every right to say, no, I don't want you now. I'm okay with it. I'm saying being with someone through the struggle is different than going into it with someone. Now, let's say the man is not established. He has a dream, but he's actively working toward that dream, and the woman can see that. To me, that's different. But I still feel that communication is key. I still feel that the woman should be aware of what she's going into. I believe that the man should be actively working on himself to better his situation before he embarks on dating and relationships. My viewpoint will not change on that. We can respectfully disagree, respectfully. I would love to hear what you all think in the comments. I'm sitting here in my bathrobe, so I apologize for that, but I was about to take a shower, but I needed to address this because I was getting this the feedback, and it was ongoing, and I don't, and this is from people just now um, listening to the podcast, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the listenership. But I also, as I stated, I just wanted to come and briefly address it. Again, not apologizing to anybody. I will not change my viewpoint. I just wanted to clarify what I meant to end. Not stating that unemployed men don't deserve love, but love and dating are two different things. I do feel like get yourself together before you try to bring somebody else into your situation. Please tell me what you all think in the comments. I look forward to getting back with you all and bringing you more topics. I have some things planned for the channel, excuse me. I hope to be back with you soon. So just hang in there. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you'll know when I do another video. Thank you so much. Bye bye.